So pit, oh yeah, yins are crazy.
What is good, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Chris Wormley Show, brought to you by yinsercrazy.com. I am at Mic'd Up Sports 1. That is the prize fighter at Jordan York Music. Together, we're two of the craziest yinzers on planet Earth. And so we came together to form yinsercrazy.com and the Yinzer Crazy podcast. In just a couple minutes, Jordan will be joined by the man himself, Chris Wormley. We're very excited to chat with him about the Steelers' big win over the Broncos and, of course, preview their upcoming Sunday Night Football matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. I can't stop laughing. Geno Smith, you're right. It's certainly it's not what we expected. I'll put it that way. We were all talking about Russell Wilson coming to town, and fortunately, I guess, with the Steelers, they will not see him, but can't count your chickens just yet. What is the chicken you can count? Is case-specificmealprep.com. Am I right? CSMPPGH.com. Tell us about those delicious meals. I think you got one right there in front of you.
Yeah, look at that. That's a little Mexican cuisine, some grilled chicken, corn, a little spice. It's great. It's delivered straight to your door. Local Pittsburgh company, and they keep me fueled. They keep the show filled. It's great, man. It's good. Eat healthy. Don't go to get fast food. You can have all your meals prepared. Case-specific meal prep, man. It's the future of meal prep. Definitely in the city of Pittsburgh. On the #1 sports podcast and the #1 Steelers show, the Chris Wormley Show. Yinsercrazy.com. We are crazy.
You said it earlier. It's not delivery. It's case-specific meal prep. Hey, listen, thank you so much for joining us. We're also supported and brought to you by SteelCityWheelhouse.com. They got 2 locations, right, JY?
Yeah, so one in Imperial and the other one is in the Meadowlands, and they have tires, auto customizations, again, sound systems, everything, detailing is all one-stop shop. It's the best in Pittsburgh. Go see John, our guy down there, and he will take care of you. And yeah, man, best in the business. And we like to think that we're the best in the business because we get to have the Chris Wormley Show every week, presented by yinsercrazy.com. And a big, big shout out to Steel City Wheelhouse. Go check them out. 2 locations. Ride now, pay later.
Oh, I like that. We're just 2 local Pittsburghers trying to help other Pittsburghers do their thing. And we're looking to put a smile on your damn face every single week with the Chris Wormley Show. Big Worm is going to help us do that in just a moment. We're excited. It is none other.
Control their destiny in the AFC North.
You heard it here first. The Steelers control their destiny, and Chris Wormley is our destiny right here on yinsercrazy.com. Let's bring in the man of the hour. It is
Chris Wormley, the worm himself, number 95 for your Pittsburgh Steelers.
It is none other than Chris Wormley. Chris, welcome in to your own show. Fresh off a huge win against the Denver Broncos. You are Pro Football Focus's 3rd highest rated Pittsburgh Steelers defender. And you're also probably the Steelers defender with the most regrettable tattoo. And we're excited to talk to you today a little bit more. First of all, how are you feeling this week, fresh off the W?
Well, coming off of 3 losses and finally getting a win against the Broncos, these past couple of days have been great. Got to go to the zoo with the family yesterday with the Victory Monday, so the little one was super pumped about that. And then obviously a day off today, so I'm enjoying the extra rest, the extra time off with the family. But it's good. It's been a good couple of days.
That's cool. So the game was a tale of 2 halves. What worked for you guys in the first half? And talk about the second half issues. I mean, you won the game, but it was kind of like a roller coaster, as Steelers football can be at sometimes.
Yeah, I think at least on the defensive side of the ball, those first 2 or 3 drives were 3 and outs. Bang, 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 off the field. We stopped when we needed to. Our defense was playing lights out. Our offense was scoring points, which was something that we love to see. They've been struggling a little bit these last couple of weeks, but it looks like they finally found their rhythm. Big Ben was slinging it. The receivers were looking great. The offensive line were moving people out of the way for Najee to have his biggest day of the year so far. So that's great to see. Hopefully he can continue that trajectory. But I think on the defensive side of the ball, we just got off the field in the first half. We stopped the run, except for that one big run they had. We held them to field goals when we could, was our big thing. And the second half, we didn't get off the field. I think they converted 2 4th downs, crucial ones when they needed to. They had that big touchdown pass, on the left side. That really shook things up for us. And then our offense, I wouldn't say they stalled a little bit, but they weren't firing on all cylinders as they were the first half. So I think, when we win or when we lose, it's a combination of offense and defense, both sides of the ball, kind of stalling out a little bit. And, we got the win. But that last drive when we were on the field was definitely nerve-wracking. But Renegade came on, which was fun. The crowd was super into it. They didn't boo us this time around. Great, but super excited for this win to go into this next week with the Seahawks.
Big Worm, talk to me a little bit about Jamespierre and his key interception. You saw this dude come in as an undrafted free agent, work his tail off. How happy are you for him?
I'm extremely happy. He works his butt off. He made the team last year with no preseason games as an undrafted guy, which is extremely hard to do. He came in basically off of his special teams play. He was our gunner last year and was making crazy plays all year last year as a gunner. And then when Steve Nelson got cut this year and Mike Hilton signed to free agency with the Bengals, he was the next man up with Cam Sutton. And, he let up that big touchdown in the game, but came back and almost had another pick on a deep ball. But then he made that game-clinching touch or interception end zone for us that I think erased everything that happened in the game for all of us. Was that interception, and it was the biggest play of the game, and he's made those plays all through camp, all through practice, and it's nice to see him get that recognition during game day.
No question. You guys are watching the Chris Wormley Show, brought to you by YinzerCrazy.com, along with SteelCityWheelhouse.com. Big Worm, every week, obviously, we like to highlight some of your former Michigan teammates that you might be going against. There was a great picture, a great screen grab I saw of you going head-to-head, helmet to helmet, I should say, against Graham Glasgow. Tell me about that experience a little bit, man.
It was great. I was with Graham for 3 or 4 years at Michigan. We trained together a bunch in the off season. His younger brother Ryan was in my class, and we were super close. So it's funny when the game first started, he didn't look at me. He didn't even give me a smile. I'm like, oh shit! Like this isn't the Graham that I'm used to, playing against or even seeing, in the weight room or whatever. But after the game, we chatted it up and talked. Had some fun talk back and forth. But it was great going up against him. He's the best guard I've gone against all season.
Wow.
And it was fun to go up against somebody that obviously you're friends with, but somebody that is a great competitor and someone that is as good as he is at his position. It's nice to see how well you stack up to somebody like Graham. And I thought I played well on Sunday.
I'm just picturing Graham looking at you, trying not to break, because you both know in your head that you're boys and you go way back, and that's really good stuff. Almost like the Tomlinism, the nameless gray faces, which I always like. He certainly kind of put the reverse on you in that context, in that regard. Chris, obviously you guys came away with a big win, but every rose does have its thorn, and you lost Juju SmithSchuster for what appears to be potentially the season. Juju is a guy who gets a lot of vitriol, even a local media, that we think, Jordan and I at least, is unwarranted. Can you talk about what kind of teammate he is and just your reaction to the news?
It's heartbreaking when you see a guy that comes back to Pittsburgh. He loves the city. He plays his heart out for the city and for the team. His team. He's a great teammate in the locker room. He's not, doing his TikTok dances in the locker room and stuff like that everyone seems to think is a distraction. He's a leader. He's a leader of that receiver core for sure. Obviously, we have some great people, great receivers at that position with Deontay. Continue to ball out. Chase came back this week and had one of his better games. And looks like he's back on track to where he was, last year as a rookie. but it hurts as not even just what Juju does on the field, but off the field as a leader in the locker room. It's gonna suck to not have him there day to day, especially for the first couple of weeks while he's coming back from that surgery.
Yeah, definitely. I did a few events with him. I know that he is a good guy, and it's crazy that he's just going to be 25. I feel like that, he just came into the league. But let's move on to Seattle. We talked about, having to be 3-3, go into the bye week before Cleveland on Halloween. You have the Seahawks. Obviously, they're a historical franchise. What challenges do you see, with this current team that you guys are going to face?
Yeah, I think they have a pretty solid offensive line. They got Dwayne Brown, who's been around for a while, but has always played solid ball. I think Carson's is a top running back in the league that can get you more than one way. He's got speed, he's got power. He can catch out of the backfield for receptions. I think Geno Smith presents his own difficulties, and game planning for him is going to be a fun challenge. And then those two receivers in Lockett and Metcalf are probably their best two players on the team. When you look at what Lockett can do down the field, what DK can do, short game, long routes, short routes, his catching ability, his run after the catch, his power, his speed, all of that combined, it's going to be a challenge for us on the defensive side of the ball to game plan against those two guys. But it's also going to be fun. I mean, we game plan against Diggs, we game plan against Adams in Green Bay. So it's going to be a fun challenge this week. And I think when you look at their offensive line, when you look at the running back Carson and those two guys on the outside, it's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of just wanted to ask you, obviously, Russell Wilson is injured right now. So you guys prepare differently for a quarterback like Geno Smith, not having much tape on him, or how do you guys, prepare for that and adjust for that?
Yeah, we'll go back and watch probably this last game the hardest. See what he did well. See what we can see what he did not so well, and try and expose that in our game plan. But I think not having a guy like Russell Wilson out there, who's not only one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but their leader. At least for a competitor like me, I would have loved to go against him. I went up against him a couple years ago when I was in Baltimore, and we got the win in Seattle, which was really fun. But Geno Smith's been around a long time, and he's played some good ball, and I know he's going to come in and step in and make some plays as well.
Yeah, we're certainly very familiar with him, at least in the 4-1-2, because obviously a former West Virginia star, watched a lot of him. So it'll still obviously present its own unique challenge. I want to pause for just 1 second and show off some really cool The Chris Wormley Show gear. JY, do me a favor. You got to hold up this T-shirt. You got to hold up this hat, because we want to give these out to as many fans of this show as possible. We got thousands of viewers every week. So make sure you hit us up. Let us know where you can get these shirts, hats, and future events. We're also sponsored and supported by Cuddles for Kids, a local charity that's going to help us out and partner with us there. We got to get Chris a hat so we can replace the Nike hat with the Chris Wormley Show hat.
I'll gladly take the hat off and wear my own hat would be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey man, let's
get the worm.
I love it. Let's jump into some worm association once more. I know that you already kind of, you don't take the thunder, but you do a great job recapping some of these players already. So I still want to highlight Chris Carson. He was out last week. This is a guy that does not appear fun to tackle. What are a few things that or words that come to your mind when I say Chris Carson?
I think you just took the words out of my mouth. He's a tough tackler. He likes to run in between the tackles, but he can also bounce it out and spring some long yarded runs. And I think we got to get more than one guy on him when it comes to tackling him. And we saw that with 33 this past week in Denver. He was a rookie, but he sure knew how to break tackles, and it took more than one person to take him down. So I think the same with Carson. He's a tough runner, a tough tackler, and it's going to be a challenge for at least the D line up front to slow him down with just one guy.
He's not their only tough running back. Another guy you might be familiar with. Did you play with Alex Collins in Baltimore?
I did, yeah. He came to us, I think, after maybe Seattle had cut him, and I think he almost had 1,000 yards, and was a big offensive player for us. Must have been my second year, I think. And it's good to see him back in the league. It's good to see him doing well again. after a couple shaky seasons with I think maybe some injuries and things like that. But it's good to see him back on the field and playing well.
All right, I know you're not going to be playing them on the field. They are on your side of the ball. But two players, obviously, that we have to highlight, Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner. Tell me a little bit about them and how you've watched them in the past.
Yeah, I think those are maybe the two best of their positions. It's going to be a tough task for the offense to slow them down. They are probably their two bell cows in that defense. They make a lot of plays, a lot of splash plays that can change the momentum of a game. With one hit, one interception, one fumble. Those are two highly respected players and two guys that are at the top of their game right now.
All right, last Worm association for you, Brian Monet.
That's my guy. His cousin was the one that did my lip tattoo actually back at Michigan. So
stop it. That's impossible. There's no way.
So
his cousin.
We have a lot of history. Me and Brian. He came in. I think I was maybe a sophomore, junior, and he was a freshman. And it's great to see him overcome some things over the last couple of years that he's overcome at Michigan and in the league. He's got a big heart, and I love to see him doing well and playing at a high level. He's a big boy, and I know he's excited to get to play us, and I'm excited to see him after the game.
All right, we don't need to see the good dental work again, but if anybody is unsure what we're talking about, go check out last week's episode, and we'll fill you in. It's also a good transition to talk a little bit of Michigan football with you, Big Worm, before we send you off into the rest of your work week.
Undefeated.
I'm telling you, what another big win for Coach Harbaugh's squad, 32-29 comeback in Lincoln. I watched the whole thing personally. This team showed a lot of moxie, Chris.
They did. They went into a hostile environment in Lincoln and played a pretty good Nebraska team that have been in a lot of big games and a lot of close games and just haven't been able to pull them out. But the team looked good, man. I don't know. I'm always waiting to see, like, is this the team that can beat Ohio State? Is this the team that is going to go to the Big Ten championship? And each week they show us something that's that they can win the close game. They can throw the big bombs down the field. They can have some creativity with trick plays. The defense continues to play stout with Aiden Hutchinson being that guy on the defensive side of the ball. And I said it a couple of weeks ago, but I think he's a for sure maybe top 15, top 10 pick now, the way he's been playing. It's fun to see and fun to watch him play after play, be as relentless he is. But they still have some pretty big games coming up. I think they have a bye week this week. I'm going to go see them during my bye week next week when they play Northwestern, which hopefully is a cakewalk. And then they have Penn State, Michigan State, and Ohio State, within the next 5 weeks of each other. So those are going to be obviously the three biggest tests. But each week they prove a lot of people wrong. They show things that people maybe were doubtful about, but they continue to fight. They continue to pull out wins. And I'm having a lot of fun watching them.
Everybody already from Michigan is like, wow, I can't believe he said we're going to have a cakewalk against Northwestern. If they now lose, we know whose fault it is. That's why you're getting phone calls, right?
You can blame me.
I'm telling you, we're going to blame Big Worm if Michigan has any problems against Northwestern. But you're right. They're undefeated. They're playing great football. It's always great to get your take on that. One of my favorite moments from my Saturday night was at the very end of the game when Coach Harbaugh was trying to get interviewed. I think it was ESPN or ABC's Molly McGrath tries pulling him aside. And I think he said, my work here is done, and just took off and ran off the field. So it got me kind of thinking, is there a story that you could tell, maybe that people don't know, or maybe it's just a tidbit, a Coach Harbaugh anecdote that you can give us or just something, because he's such an interesting dude.
I mean, there's so many things, and there's some things that, I'll keep between the team and I when I was playing.
Sure.
But I don't know. What you see, on the field or in interviews, that's just how he is on a day-to-day basis. I don't know. I don't know if he still does this, but he used to wear cleats everywhere. Like
That's unbelievable. On cement?
Well, I'm telling you, like we would do like a radio show at the local like pizza joint on campus, and I did a few of them throughout the season, and he would always be there, and he would be in cleats. He'd be in cleats in his car, and he would be working out in cleats. Him and his dad, Jack Harbaugh, who's a legendary coach in his own right. He was around a lot when I was there, and before practice, they were working out, and he was in cleats, like on the treadmill.
Like he's about to go play 9 innings at shortstop after practice.
Lifting the dumbbells. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, get some weightlifting shoes on. But no, I don't know if he still does it, but he was big into the cleats when I was there.
Man, that's really good stuff. It really is. It's quite the visualization. That is for sure. All right, Big Worm, we're going to get you out of here on this. I'm going to call it the Redeemer episode because we talked about your love for Jeopardy on a previous episode. And once again, it was, I think, Aaron Rodgers Packers week because he was the host of Jeopardy temporarily. It got us on the subject, yada, yada, yada. We end up here. All right. So we're giving you a Jeopardy question each week. Last week, we threw you a $2,000 question. It was not easy by any means. But we come back this week with some more reasonable questions, we think. Certainly probably in that $1,000 range because, listen, you're still an all-academic Big Ten guy. We're not just going to give you the layups that you got in high school basketball here, all right? So to make it interesting, I picked some categories. You could pick one, okay? Like real Jeopardy. So here are your 3 choices. Geography, history, or sports?
I'm going to go geography.
Okay, I like that. And if we have an extra minute, I'll throw you another one just in case you missed this. All right, here we go. You ready? JY, you're in this too. Get your card out. If you buzz in before, maybe I'll give you the answer or the chance, I should say. All right. These are the number of U.S. states that touch the Pacific Ocean. How many are there total? Number of United States that touch the Pacific Ocean. It's a number. And you have some time to think about it. Jordan, can you do the... Is that your final answer, Chris? Now I turned into Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
You can use a lifeline.
Is it the continental USA or the USA in
Nope.
general?
USA in general. Don't change your answer. You got it right. You absolutely nailed it. It is 5. Alaska, California, Hawaii, Oregon, Washington. Nice work, Big Worm. The Redeemer season. It's in full effect.
I had to redeem myself.
That's a good one. Oh my gosh. Jordan, I'm going to give you one. You ready? These 2 teams are tied for the record for most consecutive games with 100 yards rushing in NFL history. Can you name those 2 teams? 43 straight. Chris, you can, I'm assuming?
I can name one at least, but the other
you
one...
played for both. How about that?
Oh, already.
Steelers and Ravens. The Ravens ended up breaking their streak actually this past.
I thought they were going to get it last night, but Lamar decided to throw for 500 yards. So,
yeah, tough one, but it's obviously a long season. It's been a good week. We hope it's another good week next week. Of course, the Steelers still have that record. They also have a really big game this Sunday night under the lights, Chris. That'll be so much fun back at Heinz Field against the Seattle Seahawks, looking to get to 500 before the bye. Chris, thank you so much. Congrats on the big Jeopardy Redeemer. As always, stay healthy, man.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you.
Good luck.
Yins are crazy. This is it right here. Yins are crazy. So pit, oh yeah. Yins are crazy. This is it right here. Yins are crazy.
I know yins are crazy, but so am I. Number 1 sports site in the burg. Let me show you why. The latest stories in unbeatable podcast with your favorite athletes. You know you can't pause that. Super Bowl, World Series, Stanley Cup champs. Rising stars, Berg personalities for the fans. We love our city, always Pittsburgh proud. When you're at your job or while you got your cell phones out. Breaking down the touchdown, goals and home runs. Predictions and interview, who does it like us? No one. Cheering on the Berg squads, no pom-pom. Don't know by now it's yins are crazy.com.